This is Southern Cross News with Rachel Williams.
Tasmania's ageing national park infrastructure is progressively being revitalised as the state continues to experience an influx of visitors. But the government is being accused of leaving our natural assets to rot, with a call for recurrent funding for basic maintenance.
A relatively busy spring morning on the tracks to Wineglass Bay. Down the road, the Parks Minister revealing the rollout of upgrades to the Freycinet National Park, due for completion by summer.
Increasing car parking by 50 spaces. We're also enhancing the walking track down into Wineglass Bay. The
popular East Coast tourist hub is verging on 300,000 visitors this year, one of 30 park upgrades in an $8 million commitment over 2 years.
Mount Field, Cradle Mountain, the Nut at Stanley, down at Burnie, right around the state.
These are assets that Tasmanians have loved and cherished for a long time, but it's fair to say that they've probably been a bit underinvested in by governments over a long period of time.
But there's claims the upgrades are superficial as the Parks and Wildlife Service attempts to keep up with basic maintenance.
Behind the scenes, the infrastructure is very bad. There's a lot of bridges, there's a lot of roads, there's a lot of shacks and those sort of things that have been allowed to run down. Parks hasn't had the money they need to do that basic maintenance.
The Minister pointing to future funding.
We're going to have to be making these types of commitments over the longer term, right around the state, to make sure that we are maintaining the infrastructure.
As Tasmania's iconic national park attractions continue to boom, an effort to spread the visitor influx into our regional areas is shaping up as the state's new tourism focus.
Hobart and Launceston doing extremely well, but we need to start focusing on these areas like the West Coast, Northwest Coast.
The state opposition today committing a $3 million conservation package for the West Coast Arthur Pymon region, a 4-year management plan including Indigenous rangers with no position on four-wheel drive access.
There are very few staff up there to enforce the closure of those tracks. We know that's being abused.
The state government is committed to reopening the controversial access. Jacqueline Robson, Southern Cross News.
A new world record has been set tonight for the most people to simultaneously spin a fidget spinner. Close to 200 people made the record at the Launceston Grammar Spring Fair, but it wasn't the only thing to capture people's attention.
It's the gadget that's now an international hit, and the fidget spinner phenomenon shows no sign of slowing down here, with Launceston now claiming a world record.
We are literally setting the record today for simultaneous fidget spinning on balancing. Balancing, that's the key.
Close to 200 people were part of today's history-making attempt at the Launceston Grammar Spring Fair. The family fun activity prompted everyone to take part and even show off some moves.
They're fun to play with and they're cool to fidget with.
And these little guys proved to be an equally appealing attraction. Tongues were wagging and paws pounded the track to be the top dog in the 50-metre race. Proud owners have been prepping their canines for the big day.
This may look like a bit of fun, but for the owners and breeders here, they take it quite seriously.
It's Lord Dougal of Wesley Manor, isn't it? And he's fast, aren't you? He runs for salami. Yeah, and his keyword is fast.
Charlie's the cutest dash hound in the race, and he's going to win.
No race meeting is complete without Dashins on the field. Rita Risk, Southern Cross News.
Tasmania's best young performers have been springing into action today at one of the state's premier dance and cheerleading championships. Over 300 athletes taking to the stage to perform at the inaugural All-Stars Cheer and Dance event.
We want to bring that down here and give them the full experience of having a proper warm-up floor, having an understanding of the run sheets, getting the full panel of judges and getting all the feedback so those who do want to travel have the opportunity.
I performed cheerleading, it was fun and I got to do cartwheels.
Today's winners given the opportunity to compete in New Zealand or North Queensland competitions.
Lauderdale has made its first ever TSL Grand Final after defeating Launceston by 4 goals. It was anyone's game right up until the final 10 minutes, when majors to Ryan Wiggins and Ben McGuinness sealed the deal for the Bombers. Blunston's battleground held the key to two different dreams. For Lauderdale, the chance to reach a maiden grand final, while Launceston could shock the competition once again with another underdog upset. Early on, it was all Blues brilliance, Joe Boyce and Connor Smith nailing 2 each in the first stanza. Launceston's dominance blowing the lid off Scott Hill, reported for striking Jake Nunn. The Bombers settled in the second term, kicking 5 goals to 1, bringing the half-time margin to 8 points. Just like in weeks before, Launceston fought until the end, but this game ultimately belonged to Darren Winter's men. Lauderdale finishing the contest 24 points in front, booking a bout against North Launceston at UTAS Stadium next weekend.
It's been a thriller in the Southern Football League Grand Final. After being behind all day, New Norfolk fought back to beat Lindisfarne by just 5 points in the SFL. In other games, South Launceston is back on top in the NTFA, beating Bracknell by 32 points. And in the NWFL, Ulverston beat Latrobe by 4 goals.
The SFL final always promised to be a blockbuster. Finals heavyweight New Norfolk going for its 6th flag since 2009, while Lindisfarne wanted to avenge last year's loss to Claremont. It was all the 2 Blues in the first term, with Lindisfarne setting up a 4-goal buffer. But the experience of Matthew Smith's men came out when it counted, the Eagles closing the gap to 8 points by three-quarter time before snatching victory in the final term by less than a goal. The Bulldogs and the Robins collided at Windsor Park. The first half saw goal-for-goal shootouts as Bracknell tried everything to prevent a second grand final loss in succession. But the Bulldogs had the class and the power, blowing the game apart in the third quarter, kicking 5 goals to just a single point. The team's captain, Luke McCarty, was the standout, winning the Clary Boone medal for best of field and enjoying the best feeling in footy, leading his team to its 3rd flag in 4 years. And on the northwest coast, Latrobe and Ulverston both slow to get off the mark. The first quarter a deadlock until Latrobe's Josh Newson put the game's first major on the board with this snap moments before the siren. Ulverston squared it up in the second, Travis Davies booting this one from 50 out. The game title day, scores were locked at 50 points apiece at three-quarter time, but it was Ulverston in the end, sailing to a 24-point win, the club's first flag since 2009.
Well, in just a few hours' time, Luke Jackson will put his WBO Oriental title on the line in front of a packed Hobart crowd. Sports reporter Tom Cooper is at City Hall. And Tom, how's the atmosphere?
Well, the doors only opened a short time ago, Tom, but there's certainly a lot of buzz around the place. I know everyone here, including myself, can't wait for the action to get underway. Now, as you mentioned before, Luke Action Jackson will look to defend his WBO Oriental featherweight title against hard-hitting Mexican Humberto Di Santiago in the night's main event. Now, we caught up with event organiser Grant Tassie Brown earlier today to talk about what a win here tonight would mean for Jackson's career moving forward and his ultimate dream of a world title. Let's have a listen.
Look, it's as simple as this. You know, Luke is ranked number 10 at the moment. If he wins tonight, he'll go to inside the top 6. And, you know, as I said, we've been saying it for a long time now, a world title shot next year. You know, we're not just saying it, it's realistic.
So a massive fight for Jacko coming up a bit later tonight. Tom, and some exciting undercards too. Didier Mwaka makes his professional debut with big things predicted for that young man. And Jaden Plugger Joseph and Johnny Brown will slug it out for the state's inaugural cruiserweight title. We'll of course have all the highlights in tomorrow night's sport. But for now, it is back to you, Tom.
Sounds like a great night ahead. Thank you very much for that. Tom Cooper there at City Hall.
Good evening. A mostly fine Saturday. Hobart 11, Launceston 13, Burnie and Devonport on 12. Showers about the west and south today and some snow flurries at low levels, but otherwise a fine start to the weekend. 16 was a top scene at Eddiston, 15 for St Helens, 14 at Friendly Beaches and 12 for Wynyard Strawn and Flinders Island. A -5 was the state's low and it happened at Mount Wellington. The satellite showing some open cell cloud over Tasmania and the coast of Victoria, mid to low level cloud across New South Wales and high cloud drifting over the centre of the country. Up closer, cloud about the west and south moving across the state during the afternoon. And tomorrow, a high pressure system over New South Wales will move quickly to the east with a ridge of high pressure extending over Tasmania, creating clear skies tomorrow, but the day will end with that approaching cold front. On the water, west to northwest winds 15 to 20 knots, increasing to 30 knots in the west and south. Seas up to 4 metres about the west and south. Road weather alert current for most of the state tomorrow. A frost warning is in place for areas from the northwest coast to the southeast. A strong wind warning is current for southern and western coastal waters. A small craft wind alert current for central plateau lakes, and a sheep grazier's warning is current for the southeast. Tomorrow, sunny in Hobart 16, Richmond sunny 17. Ooze sunny after a frost with 17. Launceston sunny and 14 after a frosty start. Devonport partly cloudy 13. Deloraine 12. Burnie cloudy with 14. Strawn and Curry heading for 15. And St Helens mostly sunny 15. Swansea sunny 17 and Whitemark 13. The 3-day forecast has showers statewide by Monday afternoon with gusty winds. On Tuesday, showers contracting to the west and south in the morning, clearing later. And Wednesday, fine with some isolated showers about the west and down in the south as well. Around the country tomorrow, showers for Perth 22, Adelaide mostly sunny 24, 36 in Darwin and a sunny 19 in Sydney. And currently there's ours 6, 7 and 8. It's just counting. That's all from me. Thanks, Rach.
Thanks for that, Candice. Well, that's all your news for now. Thanks for joining us. Good night.